I'm Lance Lambert. Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Vehicle Show. We are in Garden Grove, California at the home of John Lazenby. John I met at a show a few months ago that we taped, and he had an incredible Chrysler 300, this one right here. And as we were doing the interview, he told me he had a whole bunch more. So an invitation was accepted to come on out to his house and see some of these cars. And John Lazenby, come on in here. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you for having us to your home. This is lovely, and what a nice collection of cars you have.
Well, thank you very much.
We touched on this before, but bring the viewers that might have missed that show up to speed. How did you get into Chrysler 300s?
I guess I've been into them since the inception of the car. My dad was a Chrysler guy. When I was very small, he had a 47 Town and Country convertible, and that's what started this love or this addiction, whatever you want to call it. And then when the 300s came out, all of my peers were into the Thunderbirds and the Corvettes, and of course I had to have a Chrysler 300. And it just evolved from that, and then several years ago I finally got into the point that I said I wanted to buy one, and it evolved into several cars.
Mm-hmm. I think 300s were always, there was always sort of this mystic, you know, these are sort of magic, but am I correct in that early on they were sort of magic for our parents? It was kind of your dad went out and bought a cool car, he might have got a 300. Of course now it's, you know, you say 300 and oh, what letter is it? And so how did that all transpire?
Well, the 300 was Chrysler's answer to GM and Ford, and it was the first production car built in North America with 300 horsepower. Chrysler in '55 didn't know if they would be successful with the car, but in '56, actually a little late in the year, they came out with the 300B, and thus the letter series began and ran through 1965, 11 years of production.
And the whole Hemi, the excitement about that, they started making the Hemi motor in '51.
51 was the first year, 331 inch, and they actually continued the Hemi through 1958. They had three size changes during that period: 331 through 1955, 354 a one-year only motor in '56, and then '57 and '58 was the 392, which is really what the modern fuel dragsters today, that's the motor that their motors currently are based off of.
Mm-hmm. Explain to the viewers just what a Hemi is, a hemispherical engine. What is a Hemi? We all know the word, but what makes it a Hemi?
It's a half dome cylinder head basically, and the spark plug is located in the center with the valves opposing, and it's very, very efficient as far as you know, what it will actually do. Chrysler was not the first company to use such a thing, but they're the ones that really put the name, the hemispherical combustion chamber, on the map.
And then the cool factor, Hemis just look cool.
Oh yeah.
Great looking. Speaking of looking cool, tell us about your '57 Chrysler 300 here.
Well, this particular car, which is the last of the four-letter cars that we purchased, I've owned this car now about 12 years, and it was my goal to complete the styling exercise of the mark. So I stumbled on this car. We'd actually seen it in 1989, and I ended up buying the car about, well, 5 or 6 years later, I guess, through a series of situations that occurred. And this one I was very fortunate because cosmetically I've done nothing to the car on the outside other than the rearview mirror has been replated and the antenna's been replaced. Otherwise, cosmetically, the car is as you see it. I've done a lot of mechanical things to it. Suspension work, rebuilt the motor completely, replaced the dash pad, just general cleanup, things like that. But it's pretty much a done car, and that's, as I've learned over the years, because I've done them both ways, this is kind of the way to do it. Step up and find a nice car and then do the little things.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a great car. You have a lot of great cars here. I notice you have a car around the corner that has something so distinctive about it. It's those tail lights.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go check that car out.
Okay.
All right.